Hey guys, I hope you're able to see this all right. Um, so I'm doing this video live, which is why you're seeing it in this thin screen, because Android won't let me, doesn't let you rotate the phone. Something's wrong with the way Android live streams to YouTube and Facebook. But anyway, I think the trip went really well. I have all the videos uploaded, but they're uploaded out of order, so I apologize for that. Um, One of the videos, apparently I accidentally deleted it before I uploaded it, and sorry guys, so that's my mistake there. Um, the video was on the world, during the fall, and it was actually my favorite exhibit. So it, the the imagery was breathtaking. It was, lots of pictures, and there was a video of God creating the world, and I really thought it was really incredible. I'm gonna try to buy a copy of that movie along with a copy of the interview that Noah gave to the reporter. So there's a part later on where there's a pre-flood news reporter, and Noah gives an interview to her, and it was really good. And then there was a sequel to it where you see a news reporter in the 21st century giving an interview to somebody who is building the Noah's Ark in Kentucky. So it was. I don't want to spoil anything. I really don't want to spoil anything, but as somebody who writes sci-fi and I write science fiction, um, as it in relating to biblical events, it's something I really appreciated and really thought they did an amazing job on. The makeup was incredible, the scenery was incredible, um, everything about it was really well done. Now you do have to get if you're an adult, you do have to get past the fact that there's a little bit of overacting, um, but it's not bad overacting. It's just very theatrical. It's a lot of like exaggerated stomping and things like that as people walk back and forth, and a little bit of exaggerated sarcasm from the reporter towards Noah and and towards her crew. Um, but it was enjoyable. Like it was, even though you knew that even though it was a little theatrical, it was also believable that this is the sort of thing that it made it believable in a way. Even though it's like you wouldn't, like I said, I don't want to spoil anything, but you can kind of picture that sort of conversation happening, even if the details around it were meant to be a little theatrical. So, um, and it's got to be that way because you want to have a fairly short video that you're showing to a lot of people. So it's one group of people and they leave, and then another group comes. So um, it's something that I never really appreciated about this sort of thing before. How you really can't go into a lot of detail with a lot of things because um, people have to be there and get going. So I keeping things concise and simple is not my forte at all. Um, I also want to let you guys know that I didn't see any comments about this, and but I do want to make sure I clarify. Like going forward, I really the entire time I've had this YouTube channel, um, I've kind of made this mistake. Um, I've really catered to people who are basically internet trolls, and I don't mean people who disagree with me. If people disagree with me, that's fine. Um, but I mean people who are just on here who don't want to learn, who just want to just say whatever comes to their mind. In fact, it says in Proverbs, uh, here, let me read it straight out of Proverbs. So it's Proverbs 18:2. It says, "A fool does not delight in understanding, but only in revealing his own mind." So And other translations have said things along the lines of, a fool does not care about understanding, but only in airing his own opinion. So I've kind of seen this with a lot of people over the past few years, and it kind of struck me during the 2016 election with this news reporter on TV talking about, um, this is a news commentator on national television, and she's claiming that Ben Carson's a white supremacist. And, no evidence, no facts to back this up. It was just, because because he's a Republican, she's accusing him of being a white supremacist, which is ironic because it was the Republicans that pushed to end slavery and pushed to end Jim Crow, and it's the Democrats who have always been the party of racism. Even to this very day, they fight against school choice. Um, but anyway, I get into that in other videos, so I don't want to get into a side tangent here. Um, Clearly, there's people out there who just don't care about what's true. They don't care about facts and evidence. Um, and they just kind of live in their own bubble. And I used to think that that was Christians, but and I think there are Christians out there, and I think Christians do that too much, where they don't hear things that might challenge their worldview, and as a result, they don't grow, and then they become pushovers. But I also see it very much with the secular world and with the secular left, where they just, if they hear something on the BBC or on CNN, they just believe whatever's being said. And I see that with people like Bill Nye, he just repeats whatever he hears on television, and he thinks, oh, this is the facts, this is what the scientists say. And it's like, well, no, that's not what the scientists say. That's just you giving a garbled repeat of a documentary you saw. And I can probably point you to the documentary also. So it's like you have people like Bill Nye who have no clue what they're talking about, going on TV pretending to be scientists, even though they don't have a clue, don't have scientific credentials. Um, and anyway, so with my YouTube channel, I've been making this mistake where I've really been catering to people who don't care about truth, and I have to apologize to you guys who are my fans. Like, whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me, um, I appreciate you if you are my fan and you are watching my videos for your own enjoyment or for your own learning or your own edification. So if you're watching my videos so that you can grow and so that you can become a better person, or just because you enjoy watching the videos, um, then for whatever reason, if you're enjoying this and you're getting something good out of it, by all means, I like having you around. And you are the people that I should be catering to. You are the people who I should be talking to. Reading a book from Ayn Rand recently with For the New Christian Intellectual, there was a line that she said. Um, it was, you can't, it's not your job to save everyone's soul. Ironically, this was coming from an atheist who died before I was born. Yet she had my number. She really knew the sort of thing that I'm going through right now. When I first became a Christian, I'd go out there, I would scatter the seeds, um, and some of them grew, some of them didn't. I just kept scattering. But then I got all this pressure from Christians. Oh, well, if you don't go save that person, they're going to go to hell. And that's actually something I really appreciated also with the Ark encounter today. Is Noah said, I can't control what people or what animals God brings on board my ark. You know, he said, God told me to build this ark, um, and that's what my job was. The news reporter asked him, well, how are you going to are you going to go collect all the animals? He said, no, God's going to bring them to me. That's not my job to go collect them. And he also said, she asked about, well, what if other people want to come on board the ark? And she was like, says it indignantly. He's like, I can't control what people God brings to the ark. All right, guys, I only have a 5% battery remaining, but oh, so I have a power cord. So, guess I can keep going for a little bit longer. I know I'm past 10 minutes, but I don't care. Um, because I mean, the people who like to watch my videos are going to watch them. If they're a little longer, I think they're going to be okay with them. But, and so I'm going to cater to people who actually like to watch my videos. Because it's not my job to save everybody in the world. It's my job to talk about, I'm going to do what I like to do, which is to talk about these ideas, um, talk about the merits of I'm going to talk about the merits of the Christian faith, talk about apologetics. Uh, I also want to be honest where things just because somebody's on my team, I don't want to support them if they're using bad arguments. And that's something I see sometimes in Christian circles where, um, well, I did the review of that movie. I can't even remember what the movie was called. Oh, it's A Matter of Faith, and I didn't even care who the main character's name was, and I think I named her Jennifer in the review because I was like, I just didn't care. And, like, it was a terrible movie, and I'm not going to sit there and defend it just because it's Christian, because that's not what I'm here to do. And at the end of the day, at the end of my life, when I die, I want to die knowing what truth is. I might die tonight. I might die 100 years from now. Um, Maybe the Lord will bless me and I'll live even longer. But I want to know what truth is. I don't want to. Um, I don't want to engage in. I don't want to get sucked into the trap of fideism or presuppositionalism or any of these. And don't get me wrong, not everything is bad about the ideas that have been put forth by presuppositionalists, but that's all a thing by itself. I want to know objectively what truth is. I don't want it to be based on, well, I feel this or I feel that, or I have these presuppositions or I have this. I want to be able to say, hey, that clamshell is closed. And that means, based on this evidence, that clamshell was buried very quickly. By itself, that doesn't prove Noah's flood. Doesn't. Um, Objectively, it doesn't. It just says that this thing was buried alive, and um, the evidence can only indicate so much, one piece at a time. But I'm gonna mute that so you guys don't keep hearing the beeping. Um, at the end of the day, I want to keep talking about these ideas. See, I'm reading a book right now. I'm just gonna let this keep going for a while. Reading a book right now, Contested Bones. Actually, I'm gonna share this video. So, sorry guys, it's reconnected here. Hoping my friend Daniel will see the video. I don't know if he will or not. Well, anyway, got some cool things here. They didn't necessarily come from the museum. They're just not all of them. They're just here. So I've got Contested Bones by Chris Roop and Dr. John Sanford. Apparently, Chris Roop, who is decided to go for some more schooling, wrote most of this book, and it's phenomenal. It's definitely something I want to talk about on my videos. Um, he wrote about Neanderthals, and that was just one of the chapters. So each of these chapters is going through the different so-called species of hominids. So he's addressing all of these so-called ape men, all of these so-called cavemen, and saying, okay, objectively, what do we find? What do we see with the evidence? And he's quoting just quote after quote after quote. He's showing the mainstream is not what you see from the mainstream experts doesn't line up with the stories they're told on the TV and with the documentaries. Um, so it's it's great. It's amazing. Of course, I also have my Animorphs book, which I really enjoy. And you guys know I like to write science fiction. I like to write for young people, and I like to write young characters. So K.A. Applegate, she did an amazing job writing that series, and I want to keep that up. I want to learn how to write like that. And to be honest, picking up the series as an adult, I picked it up where I left off, and I thought, oh well, is this going to be as good as an adult? And I just kind of picked it up for nostalgia purposes. I found it so much better as an adult, and there's so much more that I can appreciate. I've got my, but like, why do I mention that? I mention that because it's like, here's something that I like, that I am doing for my own personal, selfish enjoyment. And if you follow the stuff from For the New Christian Intellectual, selfish isn't always bad. There's good selfish and there's bad selfish. If I eat carrots um, because I want to be healthy, that's a very selfish thing to do. But in the process of doing that, the main person who's benefiting is me. I'm helping my body, but then I'm also making it where I'm able to take care of my family because my body's healthier, and I'm able to pay the farmer and those people at the grocery store and the people who ship the carrots, and all the people that whole line in the economy because I decided to go buy some carrots. That's one of the wonderful things about capitalism is that men are free and it works. Um, I also got this. I've taken it out of the box, but I've also put it back in the box. So let me take it back out again. Um, this is a little replica of Noah's Ark. Oh, it says if you line up 1,020 of these 6-inch models end to end, it would be as long as the Ark. That's a massive ship. There was more than enough room for Noah's family and all of the animals God brought to him. For more information about the Ark, read Genesis 6 through 9 and visit answersingenesis.org. So, not sure how we'll. Okay, there we go. There's a little do not eat it thing. We actually have like a little piece of rubber that's like an eraser looking thing at work, and it's in with some of the antibiotics, and it says do not eat this. And I'm like, if the only people who would ever be using this are people with a science degree, I would hope they're smart enough to know not to eat the rubber eraser. Um, but anyway, here we got Noah's Ark. The only thing I don't like about this one is I wish there was a little more of the fin over here. I wish it was a little more prominent, like on their full size Ark. But maybe that had to be compromised for packaging. I don't know, but I guess that's what 3D printing is for. And I've got friends with 3D printers. This thing's kind of lightweight. Um, I thought it was $10, because it was under like a $10 sign, but it might be that the other thing was $10, because it says, see, what's it say here? It says $14.99 on the package. Um, that's okay. I've wanted one of these for a long time, and I always kind of didn't get one because of the price. And so now that I got one, I'm not going to drive all the way to go take it back. Um, I am going to enjoy this. I'm going to look at this and think about um, the judgment that God brought on the earth. And I guess it's something that's kind of interesting, where it's like intellectually, like I know a lot of this stuff, but I don't really feel it a lot. Um, like that, not to say that I don't have spiritual moments or moments where I have spiritual emotion, but um, I guess I don't get it quite as often as I would like. Um, so I mean, for me, there's definitely the intellectual connection between the Bible and reality. not always the emotional and psychological connection though. So I I don't really know how to explain that too well. So it's like I'll know like intellectually in my head, it's like okay, dinosaurs lived fairly recently. Here's the evidence for a global catastrophe. But then connecting that to like God's promises to take care of me. If I'm reading the Bible correctly, there, a lot of that seemed really tough for me. So, so yeah, here's a bunch of stuff. Oh, and I got like little. I also got a bunch of like little keychains and postcards and stuff for friends. So it's this is all something that I'm enjoying. Um, so I don't know how many people actually watch these videos. Um, maybe I'm sometimes I kind of wonder maybe I'm barking up the maybe I'm wasting everybody's time with making these YouTube videos. But then again, you know what? If I were to stop doing this, like, what am I gonna do? I guess I'd go keep working on my books and stuff, which I like to do. But um, well, I guess I don't plan to get. Well, maybe I don't know if I'll ever get rich from doing this, and I guess that doesn't matter because if I were to stop making online content, um, what would I do? Go play video games? I mean, that's something that interests me for a while, but I mean, after a while, it gets dull, it gets boring. Um, but making content, like, it can get exhausting, but it sure as heck it never gets boring. Parts of the editing can be boring, but um, the actual, the overall process itself and actually making content, it never gets boring. Um, so yeah, so guys, I really want to know what you think because I want to do better with my YouTube videos. I want to not be sitting here um, spending 20 minutes explaining that 2 plus 2 equals 4 um, just to have some arrogant atheist get in the comments section and be like, well, in engineering, 2 plus 2 can equal 5 for very high values of 2. And it's like, yes, I know this. I went to school with a bunch of engineers. Um, Even though I was in the life sciences area of things. My degree's in biotechnology, and molecular bioscience. It's a long name for a degree. Um, but yeah, I mean, like, why am I gonna sit there having people split hairs over 2 plus 2 equals 4, or have somebody insist no 2 plus 2 equals 3? And it's like, at what point is somebody just that stupid, and at what point are they an internet troll? And you know what? Sometimes people are honestly stupid, and that's okay. But some people are just so arrogant that I can sit there and give them a quote from the world's top expert on something, and they just like, oh no, it's this. Well, why do you think it's that? Where's your source? Oh, it just is. So I really, really don't know how to deal with those people. So I'm not. It's something I've really struggled with my YouTube videos, but this video is going obnoxiously long, guys. I'm sorry. This is something I've really struggled with my YouTube videos, but when it comes to my fiction writing, I don't care. I don't care what you think. I don't care if you don't like it. I am making this story for me. I'm making this story for my own enjoyment, and I'm not here to cater to people. So that is my attitude when it comes to the fiction. When it comes to YouTube, when it comes to my nonfiction content, for some reason I just get so I'll get worried, I'll get upset, and concerned over well, what if somebody takes something I say out of context and wants to split hairs and stuff. And I guess maybe I just got to learn to deal with it, and maybe I just have to say, hey, if these people aren't going to be adults enough to understand that sometimes people are going to misspeak, um, then maybe I just shouldn't. Maybe they're just not worth dealing with. Maybe I need to just not throw my pearls before pigs. And yeah, so that's something that and like I said, I'm not trying to be mean. Um, because Christ does want us to be gentle, but I also don't want to go along with a um, nice sounding lies are not what Christ had in mind for us. It's not how he taught us to be. You know, Jesus was very blunt with people. Um, John the Baptist was too. Ye brood of vipers. And so it's like I don't want to walk on eggshells, especially for people who are, sometimes even being abusive. So I I really don't want to. I want to focus on my fans. I want to focus on what my fans like, and I want to focus on making better content. Um, and I want you guys to help me do that. So, if you guys want to volunteer, if you guys have suggestions, if there's ways that things can be better, um, if you want to support me, even just by being a friend and saying, hey, I would love to talk about future projects that you might have going on, Greg, and I would, love to let you bounce ideas off me. Um, I mean, that's great. That's wonderful. I mean, I'm not so famous yet that I can't interact with my fans. Far from it. So anyway, I I just really appreciate you guys. And for those of you who might not be Christians, who are my fans, thank you. Um, Thank you especially to anybody who is my fan, whether you're a Christian or a non-Christian. And for those of you who are seeking, who are maybe not my fans yet, thank you for watching my videos. Anyway, this is Greg, out.